So, out of all the gaming news that I
Serious.
did not want,
So
this ranks at the top of the list. After promising us on multiple occasions that split screen co op would make its long awaited return to the franchise in Halo Infinite, 343 Studios finally confirmed the worst. After multiple delays, they are finally throwing in the towel.
the split screen co-op mode that has defined, the Halo series over the years has been canceled. If you didn't already know that, now you do.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I mean, I
Know
feel
that
like
that's the
any
right
Halo
context.
fan should know that by now. An unfortunate victim of the massive scope of Halo Infinite's open world experience. That is what we are. And that was a depressing day.
I mean, I suppose I'd be
That
a bit
news.
more understanding if they hadn't, guaranteed us
From the
multiple
beginning,
times that they
before
had
the
learned
release,
from their
right?
mistake. They tried it with Halo 5. They knew we were all upset about it, and they said they would never ship a future Halo game without split screen co-op again. Even after the game shipped this past fall without that promised feature, I maintained hope that that was merely a setback, because they told us it was still
They
coming
said
in
it
an
was coming.
update. But the original target date of May came and went without any progress. But I am a very loyal Halo fanboy, so I kept the faith. I fully
I did
believed
too.
that 343 Studios would deliver what I'd been waiting for, the mode I had been promised. The mode I have not only patiently waited for, but it's the reason I have held off playing any part of the campaign for the last 9 months and
Yes.
counting. We played the online. I haven't touched the campaign. I was waiting for the co-op.
We still haven't touched it yet
Well,
either.
clearly, that's kind of what we're saying.
And just like that, our long wait is over. Within the second that released, and we have nothing to show for it. Nothing at all. But a bunch of wasted time,
Yeah, cleaning done.
dashed hopes,
Not much
and
clean.
disappointment.
And still, it's really not even that clean.
Wow.
The funny
thanks.
thing is that I'm saying us. The funny thing is I'm not mad, okay? But I am disappointed.
I don't know.
If
I was pretty
343
mad.
Studios had simply been upfront with us and they said, look, the project's too big, the scale is too complex to ever include split screen local play, I would have accepted it. I did for Halo 5, and I certainly wouldn't have waited all this time to play it if I had known that my desired method for us to play it was never going to happen.
Now, to be fair, they confirmed that they are still working on an online co-op mode with the targeted release for November, and we actually did just get that news as we're recording
Well,
this
but
a
at this
couple days
point,
ago.
my confidence
So-
in that commitment is also very
I
low.
don't know. There is a date,
And that's
though.
still a poor substitute. Well, they had a date last time.
That's
It's still
true.
a poor substitute for the couch co-op mode that we were all promised. And now that I know there will never be a time in which I can sit down on the couch with a co-op partner of my choice
Hopefully
and
you-
enjoy Halo Infinite in the way I'd anticipated, now there's a decision to make.
Now, do we still want to play this game that has disappointed us so thoroughly, even though we haven't even started the campaign yet?
Haven't even played that yet.
Haven't even played it.
But the thing is, I've played every Halo experience since the very first one.
Yeah.
So will I allow this news to finally break my loyalty once and for all?
Will this finally be the Halo campaign that we skip because we're just too bitter to enjoy the rest of the experience?
Tune in next time, same bat time. No, that's okay. We'll finish on this video right now. Dealing with the disappointment that accompanies these dashed hopes is never easy. But it's worse when it comes from a trusted source that was expected to bring comfort. As a lifelong gamer, I'm accustomed to being disappointed in the games I play in a variety of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And this isn't the first time that I was promised an experience in a title that didn't make the final cut once it was released. The reason this one is hitting me harder is because of where it came from my beloved and trusted Halo series. From the original release 20 years ago until now, Halo has always been a place that has introduced me to some of my dearest friends. It's provided a place of refuge during some of the darkest periods in my life. And to this very day, it's still something that I jump back into like a warm blanket on a cold winter day because it's comfortable and it's familiar. And I love everything about the gameplay.
It was a place I thought I could trust, and this betrayal cut me deeper than most games that overpromise and underdeliver, because Halo really, it's never really let me down not in this way, not until now.
No, not even Halo 4 and 5 did it this bad.
No, not this
But
bad.
as a follower of Christ, I am well aware that I have chosen a path that is going to be filled with trials and tribulations and setbacks, but I typically expect those battles to come from a place, of opposition,
Right.
not from an area that I expected comfort and safety. Friendly fire is the most bitter of all damage to take, because the hurt comes from a place where we, let our guard down, a position where we had planned to be able to heal and enjoy a brief break from all the war that's raging on the outside. We all have these dark places where we felt the burning pain of betrayal, and sadly, for many of us, it came from a place we should have been able to trust.
This pocket of pain may be something we have learned to cope with, but whether it came from family, friends, relationships, spiritual leaders, or even fellow believers, the damage that was done can often find a place of permanence that gets buried deep underneath the surface, a place the Bible calls a root of bitterness.
These roots of bitterness may come from different places for each of us, but the result from each of them is the same. The seeds from these disappointments get pushed down and become buried deep beneath the surface of our psyche. And we may even fool ourselves into believing they've been dealt with because we don't see them externally.
Right.
But that's because these seeds find a place to hide and thrive underground, growing into a root of bitterness that secretly saps our strength and infects our fruit until we allow the Lord to reach deep down into the root cause of the problem and remove it.
Many of the places in life that I thought represented safety and protection turned out to be just traumatic experiences in disguise. And the most bitter moments of my life have typically come from these moments in which someone I thought I could trust turned out to be unworthy of that trust.
And while I thought that I had healed and moved on from many of those experiences over the years, I found that there are still pockets of mistrust in my life that I hadn't fully dealt with, roots of bitterness that were producing sour and acidic fruit. The more I trusted the source of my pain, the deeper that seed got planted. So I would disguise my disappointment with humor, or I'd deflect it with sarcasm because the roots of the pain ran deeper than I was prepared to dig. And like my disappointing Halo experience, I found myself prepared to just simply withdraw from the battle because I felt like the only way to win was not to play.
So, what do we do with all these sour seeds and bitter roots that have grown alongside us for weeks, months, or for me, years? How do we move forward from these places of pain without betraying our very real feelings of disappointment and hurt?
When life gives us lemons, the answer is not to make lemonade. Sorry for all the people that have been making money off that slogan for the years. The answer is to bring those lemons to Christ and let Him remove those seeds of disappointment before they become roots of bitterness that infect our lives and generate even more sour fruit. When we tell Jesus about our friends betraying us, He knows all too well what that feels like. When we complain to Him that spiritual leaders that we thought we could trust abused that trust, He has endured that pain as well.
He has. And when our family doesn't support us the way we felt that they should have, He can absolutely relate to that too.
Allowing these bitter seeds to fester without dealing with them will only leave a sour aftertaste to the fruits that we're generating. And trying to solve these problems on our own is an exercise in futility.
Only the good physician can reach deep down into those roots of our pain, remove the source, and replace it with His peace, allowing us to generate fruit that is free of the poison from our past hurts.
Halo Infinite has let me down.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not going to allow this disappointment to steal my joy that I've had with this series over the years, or prevent me from participating in the new campaign, even if it's not going to be in the manner I had anticipated. And in our lives, the only way to prevent our past traumas from affecting our future with bitterness, and that root of bitterness, is to bring all of that to Christ so He can give us beauty for our ashes. We don't have to allow these roots of bitterness to cloud our present or sour our future. These painful and unwanted experiences do not have the power to define us unless we allow them to.
Let's exchange these bitter roots for his peace that passes all understanding today. We can still finish this fight, and we can do it with a joy that only comes from surrendering them to the Lord who truly understands.